Greetings to all our brothers and sisters world over. Wishing you all a wonderful, happy 2021. Wishing you a good health, good wellness, all your dreams coming true. Whatsoever you cherish, it should see the daylight and it should see the reality in 2021. Like while sleeping, while getting up, while walking, while talking, Mr. Madhukar Swambuji always think about water, water, and water all around. And he always thinks how to get clean water, how to get more water, how to get appropriate water, how to get desirable water. All the time he thinks and talks and walks about water. So we thought, why not? We should work out. Of course, our internal programs we keep doing from time to time. But the new year, ladies and gentlemen, the new year resolution and the new year program and the new year first public program in 2021, we are starting with Jal Sanrakshan. Imagine water saving, water stress in India and its solutions. We have got Mr. Madhukar Swambuji, Head Research and Development, Vedic Economics, and he had been very kind to come at a short notice and to share with all of us what exactly is the water stress in India and what are its solutions. Solution, he will be talking. Let me share a couple of slides quickly with all of you. International Chamber for Service Industry has come a very long way. Let me go back to the back slide. Today's 525th webinar. That's the way we have come a long way. So now, another milestone. There are 31 million overseas instead of 30. That is the latest statistics. And 9th of January 2021, we have got next Parvasi Bharati Divas, but it is virtual. Now, Jal Sanrakshan is very important. He'll be talking in details. 12th of August, we got the Honorable Minister of State for Jal Shakti, Government of India with us. And along with him, we had Arushi Mishan Panchi, who is the basically Sparsh Ganga head, founder. She was also with us. Now, from India, we always say, Vasudhaivam Kutumbakam. That means the whole world is one family. All of us, we are together. New education policy has also come in India, ladies and gentlemen. This policy is mind-blowing. So why not we should conserve water in schools, colleges, universities, institutions, polytechnics, wherever we are. And before the global crisis takes place, water conservation by all of us at all levels is very, very important. And we can start this campaign from our educational institution. Women empowerment would be very important because our ladies at home, in schools, colleges, universities, working places, wherever they are, they can do. We have been beaming in 2020 and now we will be beaming in 2021 also. From morning till evening, we all will be together. These are the ongoing programs. We are going to have some value addition. 4 more programs are on the way, which are getting inducted in our weekly series. So on the average, we will have about 30 programs together, all of us in 7 days. Now, ladies and gentlemen, while sharing this, let me move ahead. Today, after this program, I've got the next program at 7:30 p.m., where we will be talking about our focus will be education, educators, youth, cinematic tourism, and of course the MSME sector, along with the health sector, that we are going to talk about at 7:30. What is to be done in the Jammu and Kashmir and what is the proposed roadmap that we are going to discuss tonight. We will also be emphasizing on cinematic tourism right from Bollywood. Thereafter at 8:30 tonight, we will be having another special session that will come on the northeast part of India, empowering northeast India with holistic education ecosystem through educators and youth, skills, entrepreneurship, MSME, startup, and along with that, you will have herbal and nature tourism, rural tourism, ecotourism, wildlife tourism, flora and fauna tourism, and a couple of other things we'll be talking about today. We will be taking up. So this was the research of 2020, where B2B, the whole world get back to the basics. Now we also got the new education policy in 2020, and that was something remarkable. It was in the middle of the pandemic, and our focus is going to be in 2020 we are together in this journey. Happy New Year to all of you. Navavarsh ki bahut bahut hardik shubhkamnaएं आपको. And today we have got Mr. Madhukar Swabuji. He is head R&D Vedic Economics, and he is a seasoned professional, over 20 years experience with the zeal of technical sales, cherishing the work of creating technical edge in the solution offerings. Madhukar ji has been awarded by Jal Shakti Mantralaya as Water Hero and has been in the top 3 authors in the global ranking of Spanish Smart Water magazine, has restored over 10 standing and flowing water bodies across the country. Their case studies have been published on the front page of the newspaper and covered in prime time of TV news, and have delivered talks in various management institutes, including NIFTM and the global platform of tech. With these words, ladies and gentlemen, join me in extending a very warm welcome on the very first day, the first program, because rest all I had my internal program. So this being the first program, you can well imagine water conservation and water management strategies, how important it is next to our heart when we are talking about education, ecosystem, empowerment. We are talking about skills, we are talking about other pedagogies, andragogies, development. With these words, I extend a very hearty welcome to Mr. Madhukar Swabuji. And ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the geopolitical map of India and getting the complete run and getting the complete concerns of Mr. Madhukar, that if we do not take appropriate action right now, what would be the scenario and what would be the challenges and what would be the difficulties and what would be the problems. So we all got to wake up and wake up. And that is, I'm talking about 7 minutes, 5 p.m. past on 1st of January. We got to wake up because water management is very, very important, and water stress in India and what are its solutions. A presentation by Gulshan. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for giving me the opportunity on the first day of the year itself. As discussed in the morning, the subject matter is water stress in India and its solution. Water stress is by and large understood because of a lot of media attention is there on the water sector, and then the new ministry has been formed, the Jal Shakti Mantralaya. Otherwise, it was all segregated into multiple departments. So important is to understand the stress itself in detail. Where exactly is the stress? How is the stress created? Do we have any hopes? And how do we find out a solution to it? So let me just straight away jump into the presentation. Uh, this is one slide which you have also shown into the opening of the session. 54% of the country is under stress, and it is high to extremely high stress. On the map that you can see, uh, there are red areas. Now red areas to maroon areas are basically high to very extremely high stress. Now what does this stress mean? This stress basically means that the surface and the underground aquifer is depleting at a very high pace, which means everybody would have experienced just about 20-30 years back, wherever the underground water was available at maybe 5 feet or 10 feet or 20 feet, there it has actually gone down to the extent of 200 or 300 or 500 feet. There was one of the cases which got a lot of media highlight in the state of Jharkhand, which is rich in natural abundance, which is a mineral rich state also. The name itself is Jharkhand, which means a land of jungles, right? And still, there was a farmer who had taken a loan for digging a bore well, and he had to he had to go down by almost 700 feet, and still he could not find water. So this is the stress, this is the level of stress, and this is only one kind of stress. There are other kinds of stress as well, which I'll cover up in the upcoming slides. Now you see, this is another kind of stress, which is the arsenic contamination of the groundwater, which means that the surface water which is available for use is having a huge concentration of arsenic. And here you can see there is a major portion of the country which includes northeast, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Chhattisgarh. And here the arsenic concentration is way beyond the permissible limits, or way beyond the limits which is acceptable by the human body, right? So this is a kind of, for all practical purposes, you can call it a poisoning of the surface water. So this is another kind of a stress. Then moving towards the western part of the country, you find the fluoride contamination. This is another kind of stress. Majorly Gujarat and Rajasthan, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana. These are the places where you have the fluoride contamination. The existence of fluoride into the surface water is way beyond the permissible limits, right? So even if you have water, this water is not good for human consumption or animal consumption or plant consumption as well. Now, going on to another kind of contamination, this is the chloride contamination. Here you can again see into the map, wherever you have the green areas and the red areas, these are highly contaminated with chloride, right? Again, not fit for human consumption. So all these have been the kinds of stress, and why these stress is getting created. It is primarily because the drinking water availability is reducing in all these areas, right? Now, why it is reducing is, number one, the underground water table is going down, and number two, wherever surface water is available also, there also, if it is contaminated, it is not fit to be used for any human or animal husbandry or irrigation purposes, right? So the situation is very grim, the situation is very bad. But then, do we have a ray of hope? I mean, what I spoke in the beginning of the presentation, do we have any ray of hope? So the answer is yes, of course. We have a ray of hope, because God made India as a water abundant country. Here you can see in the map the kind of rivers that we have in the country. It is unlike most of the countries across the globe. Nobody has got so much amount of water abundance naturally, because we have got so many large rivers and small rivers and rivulets and tributary rivers. And then we have huge water reservoirs also, in terms of the lakes, in terms of the ponds. We have so many Ramsar sites identified in the country, which are the huge water bodies. There's one lake in Andhra which is used for the drinking water purpose. It is Koleru Lake. It is one of the largest lake in freshwater lakes in the country, and it spans to about over 1 lakh acres. So we have good amount of water bodies across the globe. So this is across the country. Now this is one of the plus points that we have, and the second major plus point that we have is, whatever water used to be there about 1,000 years back or 2,000 years back, the water is still the same on the globe. There's not even a single drop of water which is spilled outside of the planet. So all the water is still there. Only thing is, why we are under stress is because water is not available to us for the drinking purpose, because wherever water is available, either it is contaminated, or it is polluted, or it is having a regular input of sewage or industrial effluent or whatever. So we are the cause of the stress. We are the people who have uh, to take the responsibility of creating this stress, because God has made India as a water abundant country. Then all we need to understand is where the stress is coming from, and what all steps have we been taking, and where are we going wrong. because jal hai to kal hai, jal hi jeevan hai, all these slogans we've been listening for last 50 years. So it is not that government as such is not focused towards water conservation. Water conservation is not a new idea. The water pollution bill was introduced for the first time in the Indian Parliament way back in 1964. So government has always been very focused towards conserving water and understanding the importance of water, because water is required by all the beings. It is not just specific to human beings, whether it is plants or whether it is animals or whether it is birds. Nobody can survive without water. So everybody understands the importance of water, and government has been taking quite a number of steps for saving the water and conserving the water, and building this kind of awareness among the people. So where are we going wrong? Now here we need to understand what exactly is the amount of water on the planet, and what exactly is the amount of water that is usable by us. So let me just take you on to the next slide. We all know about 72% of the planet is water, but this 72% of the water is not usable. If you actually look at it, only 1%, less than 1% of the water which is there on this planet is usable by human beings, by plants, and by animals. Because the ocean water is saline. That marine water is not good for any use for the terrestrial beings. It is good for the aquatic beings which are there in the ocean, right? Again, the water which is there on the glaciers or on the poles is of no use. So where is this water which we can use? This water is only there into the landlocked water bodies, which are lakes, which are ponds, which are the rivers and the rivulet. Now this is the water which we are supposed to use, and this is the water which we have contaminated to the extent that we cannot use it. That is why the stress is there. So now let's look at the conservation methods. There have been four pronged strategy across the country for conservation of water. uh, One is rainwater harvesting, second is plantation drive, third is water body restoration by the process of desilting, and the fourth one is sewage treatment. Now all of them have got their own respective problems. Now let us start with the rainwater harvesting. The rainwater harvesting apparatus, the approach is very good. It's a very noble idea, but the apparatus is from the rooftop, the pipeline will be installed and water will be taken to a pit. And from the pit, it is expected that it will go straight away down to the underground aquifer and recharge. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen. From the pit, the water gets leaked into the soil moisture, and it never reaches the underground aquifer. Now, coming on to the plantation drive, plants are consumers of water. We don't plant trees, we plant saplings, and saplings need a lot of water to grow into trees. Unfortunately, the arrangement for that water is not done most of the time, right? Wherever it is done in conjugation with rainwater harvesting, there the saplings grow into trees, because the rainwater harvesting is giving supply to the soil moisture, and the soil moisture is being used by the sapling to grow into the trees. So together both of them work well, right? But ultimately, trees or plants or saplings are also water consumers, they are not the water producers, right? Now coming on to the water body restoration. Water body restoration, you would have seen across the country, wherever the water bodies are restored, what they do is they do, number one, beautification, which means they will do a lot of cement construction, the civil construction on the embankment area. Now, is it good or is it bad? First thing is to understand that. Now, when you are putting in embankment which is cemented, you are, what you are basically doing is you are restricting the entry point into the water body. So the runoff or the drain water will not come to the water body anymore, right? So in a way, you are restricting the source to the water body. Secondly, what you do is you do the de-weeding and you do the decantation of water, and then you put in the earth moving equipment like JCBs, dredging machines and all that, and then you desilt from the bottom. Now this desiltation is basically bad for the water body because you have disturbed the entire aqua ecology. Now this soil which you have removed in the name of desilting was actually weathered for aquatic ecology. Removing it, you have created a new layer of soil. Now this again has to be weathered for the aquatic ecology, because on top of it there'll be water. Normally the soil is not designed to be beneath the water, it is designed to be above the water. So above the water the properties are different, beneath the water the properties are different. Beneath the water the soil doesn't remain as soil, it gets converted into silt. Now what is silt? Silt is nanoparticles of soil. They are created naturally for opening the soil capillary link of the surface water body and the underground aquifer, through which the water travels vertically between the surface and the aquifer. So wherever the pressure is high, like in monsoon, on the surface water body, the pressure will be high. So water will travel to the aquifer and recharge the aquifer. In the peak of summers, when the evaporation rate is high, the pressure will be higher in the aquifer, and the water will be pulled up through the same capillaries and recharge the surface water body. So this is the natural phenomena. But when we do the desiltation job, we actually spoil this entire ecology. We spoil the entire aquatic ecology, and we disturb the entire biodiversity of the wetland. So it is not good, it is actually bad. Now, coming on to the sewage treatment thing. Now, sewage is something which is today, the kind of lifestyles we have, it is inevitable, because every human being every day generates bare minimum 33 liters of sewage. Now you can multiply it with the human population and you can understand the amount of sewage that we are creating on a regular basis. Now, what is this sewage? Whenever we add some chemicals into the water, we make the water unfit for life purposes. Now, what are the chemicals that we are adding? Like when we are brushing our teeth, the toothpaste is a chemical. When we are washing our hands, the hand wash is a chemical. Shampoo is a chemical. Soap is a chemical. Dishwasher is a chemical. Your detergent is a chemical. And all these chemicals are basically a bunch of permutation and combination of nitrate, nitrite, phosphates, and sulfates. Now all these get mixed with the water, and when the water is out in the sewage, it is having an extra high concentration of all these things: phosphate, sulfate, nitrate, nitrite, ammonical compounds, um, maybe fat oil and grease from the kitchen waste, right? Now all that will travel to, let's say, a sewage treatment plant. First and foremost, the sewage treatment plant are not enough in numbers, what is required vis-a-vis the kind of sewage production that we do. And wherever the sewage treatment plant is installed also, there also, what is the problem? The problem is, come what may, from the sewage treatment plant you cannot rejuvenate water back to its original status. And this is depicted even into the standards which are made by the pollution control boards. Pollution control board has made three standards: one is the drinkable water, second is the bathable water, and third is the treatment plant outlet. So which means treatment plant outlet by standard itself is neither good for bathing nor for drinking. Now, this water, which is not even good for human bathing, will actually be let loose into the natural water body, from where it will again be recycled and it will be used by the farmers for irrigation of the crop, for the irrigation of the food crop. So that is how the this same contamination is actually entering into the food chain, right? So that is the scenario which these are the methodologies which have been adopted for last about 40-50 years in the country. and the result of which is what we see every day. The water stress level is increasing. The country was never 54% water stressed. If it has happened in spite of all these methods that we have been taking for water conservation till now, right? Now, as I said, there is still a ray of hope, because not even a single drop of water has gone outside of the planet, and India has been designed by God as a water abundant country. So, what is the way out? The way out is we have to change the approach. We have to change the methodology or the ideology of treatment. We don't have to treat water. What we have to do is we have to understand water and then build our strategy around the nature of water itself. So, moving on to that, there is a difference between the Vedic science and the Western science. The Western science says water is H2O, which is a chemical compound. Soil is dirt, air is mix of gases. So these are all primarily dead substances, right? Whereas the Vedic science says Chitijal Pavak Gagan Samida, these are the five key elements of life, Panch Mahabhut. So because they are the source of life, they themselves cannot be dead. Now, the moment you say water is H2O or a dead substance, your approach will be different. And the moment you say that the water is a living ecology, your approach will be very different. So, what we have developed as a cownomics technology is basically an approach based on Vedic science, which says water, soil, and air are all living ecologies. So you don't have to actually do a physical, chemical, or biological treatment, because these are living ecologies themselves. They will respond. They have got their own self-healing mechanism. Like if we have a cut on our body, that heals naturally. For that, you don't need a band-aid or a neosporin powder to be put onto the cut, otherwise it will not heal. The body is in the healing process naturally. Similarly, water has got its self-healing capacity. The same goes true with soil also and air also. Now I'll give you one wonderful example, which you would have seen and observed, but you would have never pondered about it, that what exactly is the phenomena. See, into agriculture, everybody is putting in whatever they're putting in, whatever is the process. That entire process is there on the soil, because it is expected that the soil is the key source of fertility. And if the soil is fertile, anything and everything will grow on the soil, right? So you have NPK, which is urea, potash, and phosphate. Then you have your insecticide, pesticide, weedicide, and whatever. Everything is applied on the soil. Now, just imagine a phenomena whenever the rains happen during the monsoon. Even if the rain is falling onto a wasteland, infertile land where nothing grows, there also after the rains you will see grass has come up, the grass has cropped up. That has happened in spite of any kind of fertilizer being applied. So that means there was no problem in the soil. Even the infertile soil or the wasteland has got good enough capability of growing grass, provided your input water quality is good. Now, rain is the purest form of water because it is coming naturally, right? The kind of water that we are using in most of the irrigation land, what we are using, it is either the surface water, which has got good amount of sewage mixed in, or it is the underground aquifer, which is the borewell or the tube well water. Now, underground aquifer is there underground for a purpose. It has been designed by nature to remain under the ground. So there are certain things which are missing. I mean, what we are missing is, why has nature designed the entire planet in a particular fashion? Why is a surface water body above the soil surface, and why is the underground aquifer below the soil surface? There is a purpose behind everything. So we need to understand and respect those purposes, and that is what is exactly we do when we do the uh, uh, you can call it, for all practical purposes people call it water treatment, but we don't call it water treatment, we call it resuscitation of the native ecology. The ecology has gone dormant because the amount of pollution that we create, that we add into the water, soil and air, and that is why they are all contaminated. One of the biggest example of the contamination of soil, water and air is, you must have heard the term recently during pandemic, the herd immunity has gone down. Why has the herd immunity gone down? Because the natural soil, water and air is missing, so the natural immunity is not building up, right? So what we need to do is, we need to revive, we need to resuscite the native ecology in soil, water and air, and everything will be sorted out naturally. So these are the projects that we have already completed. We have Motipur Kai Lake was all sewage of the colony coming in. Edudi Lake was again all the sewage coming in. Shahpur Digri was a project in Uttar Pradesh. This was a first project in Uttar Pradesh wherein it was all urban pond which was heavily encroached, and there were about 16 odd varieties of the weeds in the single pond. Then Moa Lake was another case study wherein 70% of the surface was covered with water weeds. Jilwala Park is in Delhi. Again, all the sewage was coming in. It was almost a dead water body, in spite of the fact that it was well within the heart of a green area. It was about 5 acres of a green area, in which 2.5 acres, 1 hectare was this lake, and all the sewage was coming in.
Madhukarji,
Uh,
is the
yes,
one
sir.
near Mayur Vihar? No.
No, sir. This is in Rohini, Sector 3.
So this is in Rohini side. There's
Yeah.
something which has come up towards Mayur Vihar side also. I saw a few days back, before pandemic. There was very big park. Okay, anyway, please go ahead.
So Mayur Vihar, there is Sanjay One and Lake.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
This is
That is approximately about 140 acres of green area and
yes,
about 72 acres of lake.
yes.
But that is also in real bad shape.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Please go
Uh,
ahead. Please go ahead.
then we have Ram Sagar Lake, which is again, there was a huge sewage input coming in. Prasad Nagar Lake is again in Delhi. This is in Karol Bagh. Again, a huge sewage input was there. Oxyzone Park was majorly cut off from the sewage lines and all, but there was a lot of organic load into the water body. And Mandakini River is the river in Madhya Pradesh. This is one of the unique rivers which flows from south to north. There are very few rivers across the country which flow from south to north. So this river originates in Madhya Pradesh and culminates in Uttar Pradesh into Yamuna. So this is a Yamuna tributary river wherein all the sewage was coming in, and we did this project on the um uh, ghat called Chitrakoot. Now, Chitrakoot has a huge pilgrim value because it is believed that out of the 14 years of exile of Ram, Lakshman, and Sita ji, they stayed about 12 and a half years in Chitrakoot. So it has got a huge pilgrim value, and every now and then, Aaj Purnima ka snan hai, and then tomorrow Amavasya ka snan, and Holi and Diwali and all the auspicious occasions, people are there for taking a dip. And this problem started way back in 2015 when the river started flooding in. So every year there was a flood during the monsoon, and when there was flood, it used to disturb the entire town economy because majorly the economy was dependent on the pilgrims. So MP Pollution Control Board took a notice of it, and 2017 they moved a proposal for making a sewage treatment plant, because what they anticipated, what they expected is, because of the entire town sewage coming into the river, the river bed has got huge amount of sludge deposition, because of which the river is flooding every monsoon. So they created a sewage treatment plant, and uh, 2017 the proposal was moved, they got an approval, then the sewage treatment plant was constructed and handed over to the MP State Pollution Control Board in the year 2018. But still, it flooded in 18, it flooded in 19 also. So we got this project for doing a proof of concept for 1 month in the year 2020. From 12th of January till 12th of February, we did a 1 month POC, and we showed it to them how the entire sludge deposition can be consumed. So we did a patch of about 500 meters on the Ghat area, from where the Mandakini river enters into the town of Chitrakoot, and then it exits the town of Chitrakoot and moves towards Uttar Pradesh, wherein it joins Yamuna river in some Raja Bazaar or something. So this 500-meter patch we did, and the fishermen, the boatmen, everybody was absolutely happy with the kind of treatment which has happened, because the clarity of water has gone up, the viscosity had gone down, there was a flow in the river, the algal bloom, everything. I mean, all kinds of weeds, the underground, the submerged weeds, and the above the surface weeds, everything had gone down. Everything was consumed in the aqua ecology, and they were pretty happy with the treatment within just a matter of 1 month. And then they were supposed to come up with the project for about 18 kilometers of the river, but unfortunately COVID happened, and they could not get into all those things. And then uh, in the course of time, then there was a new government also in Madhya Pradesh. So that is secondary, but the primary is 1 month of treatment. People were pretty happy, and the test of time came in during the monsoon, when there was much higher rain compared to last year, and still it did not flood this year, just out of 1 month of the treatment. Now,
Wow,
now
that's great. That's great.
I thank you, sir.
Hmm.
So such kind of case studies have been there. Right now, the projects are going on in Mathura. There is another project going on in Ayodhya. There is another project going on in Hyderabad. Hyderabad, again, a very interesting case study happened, that we were doing this Kodikunta Lake. The treatment started on 1st of October, and 15th of October, the returning monsoon rained in Hyderabad, and it was so massive that it had broken the record for last 100 years. Approximately, there are about 200 lakes in the periphery of the city of Hyderabad and Sikandrabad, and almost all the water body was flooded.
Okay,
Not this one which we were treating, and it was just have been just 15 days of treatment. And it is important to understand that this lake, which is approximately 7.5 acres lake, receives a sewage input of 2 million liters per day. And in spite of that, it did not flood just after 2 weeks of treatment. So those kind of things are possible only when you're designing your development strategies in absolute harmony with nature. So this is what we have done. This is what we have practically shown it to people, that once you start working in harmony with nature, the nature also shakes hands with you, and you go a long way. So that is how our projects have been successful so far. All the resuscitation work wherever we're doing, we have even gone to the extent that the industrial wastewater is taken out in a water body, where in the slurry of the biogas plant, the second waste input comes in. So one is the wastewater from the industry, which is of course a waste. Then there is a waste from the biogas plant, which is the slurry. Both mixed together, and we treat that, and the water becomes a neuroimmunobooster for the plants and the animals, with which they are doing farming, and the entire farm has gone disease, pest, and weather resilient. So the yield is better, the quality is better, because there are no chemicals being used. The input cost is minimized, because you just have to do foliar spray of the water. There is no fertilizer, no insecticide, no pesticide, no antibiotics, no hormones. The entire Gaushala has become disease free. The milk yield has also gone up, and the farm yield is also gone up, and that is also disease free. Like if you look at agriculture, there is absolutely no solution for a viral disease in the plants. But in our case, we call it integral ecological farming. So when people are doing integral ecological farming, they even get rid of the viral problem from the plants. So that is the magic of nature, which I would say. And this is the way the entire water stress can be relieved from the country. So that's
Okay,
about it, sir.
great. Now we can close the presentation. I've got few things to share with you.
Yes, sir.
Quickly we can just take on. मुझे ये बताइए.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. First of all, such an innovative and a pragmatic and realistic and ground-oriented and practical kind of a situation what we have given to us. Now,
Thank you, sir.
as our series is totally basically focused on making education relevant.
Yeah.
Our series is focused on making education relevant. Right on the first day of the year, right on the first day, 1st of January 2021, when we are having your wonderful views. And I wish to understand from here that we want every school, every college, every university, polytechnic, ITI, skill centers, competency-based centers, and whosoever is in the education ecosystem, we all should be conscious, we all should be concerned, and we all should be the part of this campaign. What is your take and what is your suggestion?
So my suggestion would be that number one, people must understand that ecology and environment is something which the children should be aware of. So
Uh,
that is my suggestion number one, that it should be a part of the curriculum itself, that people understand that ecology and environment is an integral part of the life. Without the environment being in the right shape, our lives cannot be in the right shape. So that is point number one. Point number two is the biggest and the most comprehensive database of knowledge on environmental science, on ecology, on life sciences is our Vedic science. The way we have been trained by the Western science is what makes us believe that water is H2O, nothing beyond H2O. Whereas Western science itself has done so much of research outside of the purview of the school curriculum, wherein it says water is not just H2O, it is way beyond. There have been so many researchers, there have been so many doctors who have been studying that. So this should be updated to the students, to the
Hey,
kids.
point well taken, Madhukarji.
Yes, sir.
First of all, you told it should be a part of curriculum. Wonderful.
Right.
It is the integral part. Second part, you told that from the Vedic science we pick up, it is not only H2O. तो
Right.
करना क्या चाहिए वो बताइए.
सर करना ये चाहिए कि पहले तो लाइक करिकुलम में अगर ये इंक्लूड होता है कि वाटर इज नॉट H2O एंड सॉइल इज नॉट जस्ट डर्ट एंड एयर इज नॉट जस्ट मिक्स ऑफ गैसेस,
Right.
these are the part of living ecologies, and these are the things that make life possible.
Hmm.
So the understanding and the approach of the kids, of the new crop of human beings, will be in the right direction.
तो वो तो करिकुलम में ही आ गया ना, वो
Right.
पॉइंट वही आ गया.
Right.
बट
So
आप
curriculum mein when we are talking about including ecology and environment, it should be from the Indian perspective, not from the Western perspective, because Western perspective to abhi bhi hai hi.
ये
Already they are teaching it in the curriculum. Environmental sciences तो मेरे ख्याल से second या third class से start हो जाता है CBSE board में.
ठीक. So it should be from Indian perspective. It should
Right.
be Indian point of view. चलिए
Right.
ये भी ले लिया. जब हम इंडियन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से बातचीत कर रहे हैं,
Right.
तो आप क्या चाहते हैं उसके अंदर? प्रैक्टिकल पार्ट बताइए.
सर प्रैक्टिकल पार्ट तो ये है कि the number of schools and the number of colleges or universities that we have in the country,
हाँ,
if every school or every college or every university takes the ownership of one of the water body around them,
Okay.
then all the water bodies will be naturally treated.
Okay.
All the water bodies will be restored.
Okay.
So, on one hand, the kids will understand the importance of water and the wetlands. On
Okay.
the other hand, maintenance of the water and the wetland will naturally occur because we have good number of water bodies and we have the good number of educational institutes as well.
So your take is that whatever bodies are available near the schools, colleges, universities, institutions,
Yeah,
हर एक कोई अपने आसपास की जो वाटर बॉडी है उसको अडॉप्ट करे,
right,
उसको पिकअप करे, उसको ओन करे,
right.
और they should take care of it and it should be the integral part of their entire system.
Right.
Okay, done. Point.
And they should treat it with the ecological science instead of demanding for a sewage treatment plant there,
Okay.
because they have to understand the nature of water, soil and air first as a part of the curriculum, and then they have to treat it accordingly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Point well taken. Point well taken. और कोई चीज आपकी, कोई और रिकमेंडेशन है आपकी,
सर
इनोवेशन
सर
या
इसके अलावा मैंने एक आई हैड गिवन वन ऑफ द सेशंस इन your organized webinar only, in which I was talking about a self sustainable village.
ओके
Now, if the soil, water, and air are maintained in good condition, that will contribute towards the overall upliftment of the village, overall bringing the rural economy back on track. So, once
if
that happens,
the soil and
soil, water, and air,
soil, water and air.
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
if they are into their natural condition, into their native, healthy, alive situation,
Uh,
then the entire rural economy will come back on track.
okay.
So people will not have to worry about their crops. The farming will be a profitable venture. Whatever they do, whether it is animal husbandry or fishery or dairy or poultry or goatry or piggery, any kind of farm, whether it is animal farm or whether it is a plant farm, whether it is agriculture or horticulture or apiculture, everything will be profitable because nature does not need human intervention for growing up of plants or animals. So when this happens, the input cost will reduce to the minimum, and your output will be of the highest quality and the highest quantity as well. So every farm will be profitable. Every village will have enough livelihood opportunities, enough profitable farmers. So the exodus to the city will stop.
Okay.
So we won't be needing smart cities. Rather, the smart villages can actually serve the purpose.
Great. Great. We need smart villages. Very good. And in a way, what you have mentioned over here, the soil, water, and air. If you see at our backdrop, right on the right hand side of my backdrop,
Yeah.
right under that mobile phone, we have written
Back to basics.
back to basics. So somewhere we are together. Somewhere we are
Yeah.
together on this journey. I will discuss with our senior advisor, Mr. Anil Manocha ji, also in Singapore.
Right.
And throughout the year, we have decided, because our internal core team has discussed in the governing body, that water management strategies is going to be the integral part of 2021 Yatra of ICSI. When we are talking about education, when we are talking about skills, when we are talking about competencies, when we are talking about MSME, that is because every child, when they have to be equipped and to take up startups and everything and entrepreneurs, whatever they have to become, I personally feel, is there any forum, is there anything available in India where startups related to water management or water management strategies, is there any separate forum of that kind, if you are aware of?
No, sir, I am not aware of any such kind of forum wherein it is water focused startups.
Startups. That's what
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
Yeah. There
Okay,
is maybe Jal Shakti Mantralaya would be planning to do something,
okay,
because I remember there was one summit by this Namami Gange and Sea Ganga and Jal Shakti Mantralaya. It is
okay.
called International uh, Water Impact Summit.
Sorry,
Okay.
please go,
I-
go ahead again.
International Water Impact Summit.
Okay, okay,
Okay. Now, this is being organized for 5 years now.
okay,
Into this, what happens is all the companies which are working into the water sector from across the globe. There are some 300 odd companies which have participated into the previous sessions.
okay,
This year, 2020, I was also fortunate enough to get an opportunity there to present our technology.
okay,
And incidentally, I was the only Indian company there.
okay. Okay, but do you feel there is a concern? Like the other day, one of the IS officers who has resigned, and he
Mm.
has set up in Gurugram organization called the Entrepreneurship School,
Okay.
right? So he
Mm.
was talking and he was telling when he came on the webinar like you, and we were
Mm.
deliberating and discussing,
Mhm.
and when we touched about the agriculture, we talked about organic farming, nutrition, and everything. He
Mhm.
said, I think today, after coming on this platform, I'm realizing why do we have less startups for organic farming or
Mhm.
related to these areas?
Mhm.
Similar way, I just thought because you are specializing on water management strategies, that
Mhm.
is there any body where we have got startups or everything related to water management strategies, or water management awareness strategies? Why not? We should have startup in that also.
So globally, we have a separate social media for the water professional that is called the Water Network.
Water,
The Water Network. That is the name of the social media itself. Like we have LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and all that. So
okay,
there is a dedicated social media for the water professionals only.
okay,
So global community has given its due to the water sector.
okay.
But in India, I'm not aware of
We
anything
will check up.
which is dedicated to
We will check up.
water startups.
We will check up. We will check up
Like
because
just about yesterday, I saw a newspaper advertisement
hmm,
wherein it was on agriculture innovations,
okay,
which was inviting all the startups and all the technologies which were working into the agri sector.
okay,
And I thought that okay, it is some because Modi ji has been known for doing some out of the box ideas, whether
yes,
it is Startup India or whether it is there is another Agni platform which is only for the Indian innovations.
yes,
Then there it is funding. So I thought that this Agri India would be something interesting. So I thought of going through the website and kind of putting our information also there. But there they had identified only 5 areas which are the problem areas for agriculture. Now these areas were the precision agriculture by use of artificial intelligence and IoT into agriculture. Now,
okay,
that is one area. Second area was this go-to-market strategy for the supply chain.
okay,
Then there was reducing the, I mean, the knowledge portal on how to mechanize the entire agriculture, right?
okay,
So the ideas were all post production ideas,
okay.
whereas our approach is to correct the methodology of farming itself,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Because right now, if you look at the marketplace, there are only two three types of agricultures available. One is completely chemical based, second is completely organic. Now they call it organic, but it is actually microbiology based.
okay,
Now chemical based is one area, microbiology based is another area. That is another kind of agriculture which they call as organic, and they preach that it is natural.
mhm,
Whereas what happens is, if you are as a farmer, I mean, I found it absolutely illogical to buy this idea that with chemical, if I'm getting, let's say, 10 quintal from a particular landmass of yield, the moment I switch over to this so-called organic or natural way of farming, my yield will drop from 10 to 4. That means 60% drop in the yield, which means nature is not capable to compete with chemicals. How is it possible? So this is what is happening in the name of organic. Okay. So organic is also not organic because the amount of interference which is there into the crop development cycle happens to be exactly the same. Like, you have to do a seed curing in chemical based farming. So you do the curing in fungicides, which is like carbendazim or therum, right? The moment you switch over to this organic farming, you have to do the same seed curing now in rhizobium bacteria or azotobacter bacteria, right? So you have just replaced the chemicals with microbiology, and you're still playing around with the entire crop development cycle.
Okay.
So that is what we are talking about, that you reduce your interference. Nature knows how to grow crops,
Hmm.
and
Okay.
when we reduce it, you get entirely different kind of a yield which has never been imagined from the particular landmass.
Hmm. Hmm.
So in chemical, if you're getting let's say 10 quintal, the moment you switch over from to zero chemical, you actually get 20 quintal, which people don't realize, because they don't believe that without chemical how can we grow crops. Now, chemicals have come into India only in 1963. Before that, we were all growing crops without chemicals,
Hmm.
and the
And
yield was much better.
the yield was more quantity wise.
Sir, yield can be more quantity wise wherever we have done, wherever we are working in the farm sector, everywhere. Compared to chemicals, you're getting double the crop.
Okay.
Yeah. Only thing is, because you have to understand what you're doing and you have to do it right. Unfortunately, if I have a Ferrari and the tire is punctured, even a Maruti 800 can beat me in race, because the tire is punctured and I don't know how to change the puncture. So I need to understand my machine very well, how it works and what has gone wrong, how to repair it. Right. So our system of agriculture was way ahead of chemical based agriculture earlier also. Unfortunately, we did not do research on our own technology, and we went to all the way to America to understand how to do agriculture, whereas agriculture was invented in India.
Hmm.
Now we have sufficient evidences for this, archaeological evidences, the genetic evidences, the multiple streams of science which have proven that agriculture was invented in India.
But what shows Swaminathan ji brought from there, every state in India did not adopt that. It were only fewer states. Those are basically at present crime.
Yeah.
Are you getting me? Because unless they do not change the crop, anyway, that topic is altogether different. We will touch it some other way and
Right.
some other day. So, with
Yeah.
these words, ladies and gentlemen, because thank you very much, Madhukarji, our basic efforts are that water conservation, water protection, saving every drop of water should not be taken separately. It should be integral part of our education ecosystem.
Right.
Why should we have it separately? मेरे घर में, मेरे स्कूल में, मेरे कॉलेज में, मेरे इंस्टीट्यूशन में, मेरे वर्किंग प्लेस में, मेरे पब्लिक प्लेस में, मुझे हर जगह मुझे ये कॉन्शियसनेस और कंसर्न होना चाहिए, because education is not theoretical. Education
Right.
is my living.
Right.
Education is my way of living. Education is my way of thought process.
That's the way it should be, sir. But unfortunately, that was not the curriculum we were following. We were actually very good students of history,
Uh,
because all was being taught to us was what was already done, whether it is some Britisher who has done it or whether it is some American who has done it. Nobody was actually looking at the problem that we have in our country, and
yes.
nobody was trying to resolve those problems. See, if I'm let us suppose I've got a natural inclination. This is something which the new education policy has done. If I am a natural poet, why am I supposed to understand a plus b ka whole square? I should actually develop my skill set towards poems. And this is what this new education policy has done. This is a remarkable change.
Yes, it's a wonderful document which has been given to the country on 29th of July. It's a wonderful document. And once it is implemented, it will bring a sea change in the entire education ecosystem of India. And that's why these are the valuable inputs. Now, are you familiar with Catch the Rain? Before I wind up, something I just thought I can touch.
What?
Because
What, sir? Can you please come again?
Catch the Rain.
Catch the rain.
Yeah, that is the slogan given by now Jal Mantralaya.
Okay.
And just a week back, we had Nandita Pathak ji, Dr. Nandita Pathak, who is the brand ambassador for Swachh Bharat. She came on our platform and she gave the whole profile, what actually Jal Mantralaya is doing now in India and what exactly is the future, concern that every drop of rainwater which is coming down, it is to be saved. So it is called Catch the Rain. That is the slogan they have given. So that something is wonderful. Although you gave some different perspective and it was so natural and I was thinking that time. I was traveling in Meghalaya sometime back beyond Shillong in Tura area. And I saw all around stones, but in between there was a grass, beautiful grass. It was coming up and all. So when you were telling whether it's the water or it is the soil, what exactly we got to take into consideration. So I was just trying to analyze that something wonderful. Right. So Madhukarji, great to have you this evening with us. Many more such celebrations with you. We have started today's program with you on 1st of January. It will go down the history because 2021, the first public program we started with you. And now at 7:30 p.m., I've got a special program on Jammu and Kashmir. And then at 8:30 today, we have got a program on northeast part of India. These programs are just on the way. So ladies and gentlemen, do join us on the YouTube, GS Motivator, and be a part of this particular journey. And while conveying our deep gratitude and thanks to Madhukarji, once again, आप सबको नव वर्ष की बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं. आपको नव वर्ष मुबारक हो और नव वर्ष में आपकी सभी मुरादें पूरी हो. जिसकी जो मन की इच्छाएं हैं परमात्मा पूरी करे और सबको एक अच्छे भविष्य की ओर लेकर चले. So with these words, ladies and gentlemen, wishing you all a wonderful, happy year ahead, and we roll into the 2021 beautifully. And thank you very much, Madhukarji.